handed me a note demanding the money.
Figured it's 30 years of my life down the drain.
Saw my sister's house explode.
It's 1, 2, 3.
I have to live here and I have to breathe this stuff and I have to view it.
Ain't no words for it, honey. Ain't no words for it.
I'm burnt. My face is burnt.
Dad was unstable. The kid was unstable. Well, boom, 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 boom.
Attention all companies, attention all companies. After 3 centuries of continuous service, engine company number 7 will close its doors forever.
County commissioners tell us they are so concerned about this that they've opened up their own investigation into what happened here last night. Here's how some of the money was spent. $1,900 for 4 Breeders' Cup tickets.
I literally, even during Christmas when he's holding the baby, like.
When Eugene Thomas walked outside today, he saw the strangest thing.
Shiny things laying
Dozens of syringes and medical waste littering 6th Street.
The syringes and the little tabs that are scattered that have blood on them.
He had no idea where they came from, but he knows how heavily traveled this street is by bikers, pedestrians, and children.
These bright, shiny things. And I couldn't live with myself if a kid picked up one and pricked himself or herself.
Just to give you an idea of how long this trail of syringes actually is, we're on 6th Street between St. Catherine and Zane. It starts here and ends almost an entire block later down there.
Called.
Eugene says he immediately called MetroCall expecting quick action. He says 6 calls later, nothing.
All that I've heard about diseases, and I'll make this phone call, and I feel that it shouldn't have been but one call made to collect this.
So we called the mayor's office, and less than 10 minutes later, the chief of staff of Louisville Metro EMS showed up, and after her, police arrived to divert traffic, and the cleanup began.
It's not something that we get frequently. But they were probably for a diabetic patient. You always hope that things like this are just an accident, and usually they are. But you have to be cautious. You know, you never know you don't want anything that may be contaminated to be out in the public.
We didn't get an answer as to why the problem wasn't handled without us, but Eugene's just happy the needles and syringes are off the street.
It's Baba. It's Baba. It's Baba, Uncle B. Tell him, Baba.
How do you explain it? How do you help them understand what seems beyond comprehension?
I guess it was God's way of telling him he didn't need to be here anymore. He needed to be with him. So I know he's in a better place now.
Jamie's dear friend Brandon was among the 9 trapped in this house at Shelby Park Saturday morning. Their grief spread faster than firefighters could run to save lives. A mother needed strength and eventually help of her own when the miraculous didn't come through. The fire killed 3 young boys, the father of a baby girl and a woman friends say wanted a family of her own. The next day, Gabby Johnson's family still couldn't go far from the house, tying balloons to her car, still outside, watching the memorial to her and 3 others grow with every act of love. Love for Amarion, Anton, Brandon, and Gabby, and love for those who tried so hard to save her.
Oh God, he was loved by everybody. He was loved by everybody. Like I said, if you met Brandon, you had a friend for life. You really did.
I have to live here and I have to breathe this stuff and I have to view it.
James Ford is talking about the house next door, vacated by people and then taken over by rodents.
I've seen rats and possums the same size. I thought they was big-sized tomcats, but they was full-grown rats. They were standing up trying to fight me. I kicked them away coming out of this yard.
Ford gave us a tour of the yard today. We saw the carcass of a mallard duck. We saw nails and sharp rusty screws sticking out of pieces of wood all over the place. We saw cages that used to hold rabbits and chickens, but now just contain feces. Then there was the soiled adult diaper and the smell.
The smell has been very repugnant. I couldn't sleep at nighttime. It's coming in my windows. I walk outside here, take care of my business, and I get up early in the morning. The smell just about knocks me out.
The problems don't stop there. There are buckets in this baby pool filled with rainwater and mosquito larvae, perfect breeding grounds for an endless swarm of mosquitoes. Ford says he called the city and workers came out and boarded up the house. But he says the real problems were never addressed. I can obviously see the mess. You've made a lot of calls. This must be frustrating.
And it makes me feel ashamed that I have to live next door to this stuff. This is unhealthy. It's unhealthy for me and my wife to breathe. But we have nowhere else to go.
That means no way to escape the mosquitoes, no way to escape the rats, no way to escape the smell.
The odor it's just like, it makes me so sick in my stomach I can't hardly breathe it.
This is how I always remembered seeing Rihanna Smith Hamlin. Her long blonde hair hung down her back, and her smile filled the newsroom. She was a producer here at WHAS 11 a few years ago. She's since moved on from the station and was in the middle of building a new career for herself when she heard the words no 33-year-old expects.
Got a phone call at work in the afternoon one day, and they said, "You have cancer."
During a routine self-breast exam, she found a lump when she was 33 years old.
In March, I had a double mastectomy. Very lucky that we decided on that. I was a candidate for a lumpectomy, a much smaller procedure. But when they did the double mastectomy, they found another spot of cancer back behind the lump that we found.
Her days in chemo were spent with her family by her side.
I could not believe it. I'd had a scare about a year before myself, and I really didn't. I thought, well, she'll go in there and they'll say everything's okay. I never expected it to be cancer.
The hard part is watching someone you care about and love go through all the pain and the fear and the worry, and you have the same pain, fear, and worry inside you. You just can't show it.
Rihanna is expected to have a full recovery and is determined to spread the word that you can get breast cancer at any age.
I'm going to do something with this. I'm going to become an advocate of it. I'm going to talk to people whenever I can. I don't care if it just sounds weird, you know, that I might say, "Hey, I have breast cancer. Check yourself."
It's all about attitude for Rihanna, and she certainly has plenty of it. Check out the shirt that her team will be wearing at the Race for the Cure. It says, "Breast cancer took my B's, and Dr. Thornton gave me D's." When her hair started coming out, she decided to just shave it off, and she's been having plenty of fun with wigs.
I'm going to show you my big old grand wig collection here.
Rihanna, though, also has a serious side where she reaches out to other young survivors online. She has an internet diary where she shares her lows. She wrote, "I thought I was over the hump, and today I am lying on the couch with a fever, a headache, coughing up green, a sore throat, and I'm just plain worn out." But she also shares her highs. "Well, I think this is it. I think I am finally over the hump. Yay! I am still a little tired, but I think I can finally say this is it. It is over. No more chemos."
I am a survivor, but hopefully I'll be around for a long, long, long time and be able to talk about this to as many people as I can.
Sometimes it's hard to make do with what you got, but we manage.
I'm an alcoholic. I'm also a drug addict.
It's very painful and very, very hard.
Kind of like to know what's going to happen tomorrow, where I'm going to be tomorrow.
So when you get your free time, yeah, you go make extra money the way you know how. The way you've learned living on the street.
They call it flying signs, a way to make money to buy what they need to survive. Most days, this group of friends, or tramps as they call themselves, do odd jobs to make money. Today is not one of those days, so instead, they're out here on Grinstead Drive.
It's embarrassing. It's degrading. Thank you, ma'am, very much. Thank you, sir. You have a good one.
This is David Hayes, a father of 6 who lost custody of his children in a divorce several years ago.
I fought through the court system. I lost. When they terminated all my rights, I didn't care after that.
He stopped working and became homeless. Now he's part of this group and the first to fly a sign today on this ramp, something he's been doing for years.
You won't see somebody in a $80,000 Mercedes-Benz hand us $1.
Barbara, I told you not to talk.
You'll see somebody in a beat-up Chevette give us $5. Thank you very much. The people that are close to where we're at and have a little bit better know how it is and understand it. Thank you, sir. You have a good one. Thank you, ma'am, very much. Because there is good people. You figure 1 out of 20 are going to give you money.
That adds up fast. In under 15 minutes, David already has more than $25.
I'm done. I made enough to survive for today.
It's one of the many rules the tramps follow. There's no smoking or drinking allowed on the ramp. Only one person flies a sign at a time. When they leave, all signs are neatly tucked back into a log so they can use them again another day, and everyone needs to be done by 2 o'clock.
After 2 o'clock, you don't want to fly in Grinstead because of all the police, and they're ugly out there after 2. And the morning shift, they just honk you off till you go away. Once or twice.
Once they've all had a chance to fly a sign on the ramp, it's off to a local convenience store to buy food, cigarettes, beer, and if they can find a dealer on the way, drugs. After that, it's time to go home.
Tramps live all over the city, usually hidden from sight, but much closer than many people would expect. In fact, several months ago, a few of them lived right here, a few yards away from this bike path, in the woods along the river. They don't live here anymore, and we won't tell you where they live now, but we spent the night with 11 of them.
Welcome to the jungle.
Last winter, there was only about 4 people out here.
Right.
5 on, unless we drug somebody back here because they were freezing to death on the bus stop.
Right.
Every now and then we did that.
This is Mark Hensley. He grew up in an upper-class neighborhood in Greenwich, Connecticut, attended the best prep school in the area, and eventually graduated from the University of Connecticut. David Dumont shares a similar story. Both Mark and David ended up homeless for the same reason.
The bar was set so high for me and the expectation level was set so high for me, and it was never good enough.
Both men gave up. David eventually got back on his feet and now helps people who live in tent cities break the cycle of homelessness. Mark breaks the cycle every now and then.
I go get a job, cutting meat, making 50, 60, if I'm a meat manager, sometimes 80, 90,000 a year.
He's been living in this camp on and off for more than a decade, coming back every time he decides to break a sober streak. Right now is one of those times.
I like in the morning and have a beer. Smoke a joint, I'll smoke a joint. If something else comes around right this minute, I will probably do it too.
He admits he uses the money he earns doing odd jobs or flying signs to buy those things, but says he also uses it to help people.
What we did, we got a case of beer. We went to the First Link and got 14 packs, 4 family packs of pork chops. And as we were walking down the streets of Louisville, we invited 6 people we didn't even know. Laying on the side of the walk, just sitting there. Hey, you hungry? Come on. And they came up to our camp, we cooked on the fire, and I fed them.
Tom Lovely is the resident cook.
And it's still warm.
And this camp's nurse tending to wounds with whatever they can afford. Quentin has a knack for making everyone here smile, and Doug makes sure everyone, including their pets, gets enough to eat and has a place to sleep.
Well, I sleep right over there. It's my spot.
But none of them want to sleep here forever. They all say they are trying to get out and make a better life. But until that happens, these tramps spend their days getting food together, getting drunk and high together, and the next day doing it all over again.